Hello, everyone. Today, we have 3 movies to discuss. Cody, I feel like we've already done 3 movies at once since you've been here.
Yeah, technically.
I mean, it was a Frankenstein sandwich.
That it was.
But someone has decided to return for this episode. Please reintroduce yourself.
Hello, it's me, Anthony. I decided to come back. And I'm still gonna show up every now and then.
Every now and then I fall apart.
You had to make it back for this one, though. It was important.
I had to make it back for Star Wars.
Oh, God. Yeah, every year around this time, we will be doing Star Wars.
Well, there's only one more set.
Unless you want to get into the TV shows.
No, so that's how. So we're into the sequels next time. And then after that, we'll do the Rogue Ones and the yep.
And then we'll pretend Solo doesn't exist.
I don't mind Solo.
I haven't seen. That's the only Star Wars movie I have not seen.
It's just pointless. The whole movie exists just to.
It exists. I don't mind that it exists.
No,
it's like
it's just to explain the Kessel Run line. That's it.
Pretty much. Like you could just.
What do you mean? A parsec's a measurement of distance, not time. They're like, we need to explain this. Make a movie.
No, we have to know how he got the last name Solo.
Oh my God! That ruined the whole movie for me. Just done now.
It really
It was so stupid.
Makes Kylo Ren's last name a bullshit last name and makes his whole story pointless. But regardless,
we just covered the entirety of Solo. We don't have to talk about it now. Done. That's it. That's all you need to say.
Kind of. I mean, and Daenerys Targaryen's somewhere in there.
Oh yeah, I forgot she's in that.
But to give context on where everybody stands before we talk about this, I fucking hate these movies.
I love them.
I'm indifferent.
This is going to be a very interesting podcast.
What are the chances?
But before we talk about the prequels themselves, I want to start with a story.
Oh no.
So, growing up, I was already a huge Star Wars fan. My uncle had shown me all of the original movies, and I thought they were the coolest thing in the world when I was like 4. And to this day, I still love the original trilogy. So back in, I want to say 1999, I think that's when Phantom Menace came out.
Yeah, 99.
I was asleep, and my uncle shows up to our house, and my dad's like, "Frankie, get dressed." I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" And we get in the car, we drive to the movie theater, because I have no idea what's going on. Nobody's telling me anything. Anthony, I think you were there, and we get to the movie theater. I see like the Darth Maul banners and like the lightsaber memorabilia, all that. I was like, "Are we gonna watch Star Wars? Are we watching Star Wars? Are we watching Star Wars?" Like 6-year-old me was like hyped, and I watched Star Wars in the movie theater for the first time. And at the time, as a 6-year-old, it was the coolest experience ever. As an adult, Phantom Menace is fucking stupid. I guess we'll start with Phantom Menace. Cody, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Phantom Menace, the politics is strong with this one.
Oh my God, yeah.
The politics is strong with, I would say, this whole trilogy.
Well, George Lucas straight said Palpatine is George W. Bush.
Wow.
So I say he can be considered a different president nowadays, depending on which side you lean on. I'll leave that ambiguity with that ambiguity.
Considering my mom listens to this, hey mom, fuck Trump.
Does she listen to this?
Uh-huh.
What?
Anyway, Cody, what? All right,
that's a development.
Go ahead, Cody. You can go ahead and talk now.
Oh yeah, I was trying to remember what I thought back when this first came out, and I cannot. But I mean, I probably had a fun time with it at the time. Now, not so much.
There is a thing that I want to ask both of you. Because the movie doesn't really go into this. Who's the main character?
Qui-Gon, 100%.
I'd say it's Qui-Gon.
100%.
You think it's Qui-Gon?
Yeah.
Not even a question.
I guess. I don't know.
Qui-Gon's the one we spend the most time with. He's the one that pretty much sets a lot of stuff in play, for good or bad.
Yeah, metachlorians.
But just because he doesn't survive the movie does not mean he isn't the main character.
Yeah.
I would argue the most important character, and though I don't even think this is arguable, is Anakin Skywalker.
Sharks.
Did you say sharks?
I said Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, fuck all the way off with your bullshit. Fuck you!
It's all Jar Jar's fault. That's why he's the most important character. It's all his fault.
Sorry, Anthony, but I think you may need to leave. It's I'm just kidding.
Oh my god! But
Plagueis.
But guys, the negotiations were short.
Yes, the negotiations were cut short.
Oh my god, those aliens, whatever they were, their animatronics are terrible.
Oh yeah, and actually that lasts all the way through the prequels. Is even in the third one, they're still bad.
Newt Gunray.
Yeah.
Yeah, his lip syncing isn't the best.
Oh, it's awful. And George Lucas, like, no one's going to argue with you. You have an unlimited budget. That's what you went with. Okay.
Yep.
And, like, I do kind of get, though, giving George Lucas a praise here, I get the idea of wanting to do a prequel trilogy about how Anakin became Darth Vader. This is how you start it?
Yeah, you might have gone back a little too far there.
Like, I honestly, I hate to copy Jeremy Jahns here, but I would almost argue that the prequels trilogy should start with Attack of the Clones that had a movie in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Well, I mean, 90% of the content between and after this is about the Clone Wars. So,
yeah, so
but what's really the point of Phantom Menace?
It's literally just to get how Anakin becomes with the Jedi. That's literally all it's for.
The thing, we already knew that he was with the Jedi.
That's the thing.
We already knew
he's right,
he was with the Jedi. So, like,
because this is a prequel, we already knew he was a Jedi at some point. The audience already knows that.
Yeah.
You could start
really,
with
the main character of this prequel trilogies is Palpatine. This is literally just about Palpatine's rise.
I mean, really, the main character, the main character prequel trilogy really is Anakin. But
yes,
except in Phantom Menace, it's weird. It's the only one he's not the main character.
Well, he doesn't show up until a little bit in, so that makes sense.
I'd say like 20 minutes in, maybe.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. How do you feel about Anakin not having a father? It's literally a Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jesus Christ.
It's a bit on the nose, definitely.
Like, that's exactly what it is. It's so stupid.
The issue with this is I think Lucas. The problem with writing back is Lucas had to make Darth Vader important, so it's like make him a chosen one, I guess. Make him a Jesus allegory, sorta. Because he had to make a reason why Vader turns and kills Palpatine more. Not so much like, oh, he's like, my son is dying. I'm gonna act, and more like,
I would argue still that Darth Vader saving Luke is enough motivation to kill Palpatine. He doesn't need to be this Messiah.
I agree. I love this series of movies, warts and all. But I will agree, Darth Vader just wanting to save his kid is enough of a reason. You don't have to make him a chosen one.
But can we talk about the what's that planet called where it's all political bullshit and then
Coruscant?
Coruscant and Jar Jar's like, we're going home afterward because the scene's pointless.
Yeah, Coruscant kind of drags.
That is a weird moment.
Coruscant drags, and so does Tatooine.
Oh my god. The pod race. Everyone loves the pod race. Who gives a fuck?
Space NASCAR. Who cares?
I do remember the pod racing game on the N64.
That game's awesome, though. That game's awesome.
I played that shit a lot.
Remember the arcade? It's literally like, it's basically the seat of Anakin's pod racer.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
Yeah, a lot of quarters spent on that one.
And now we can't talk about Phantom Menace without talking about the character who was so marketed but is barely in the movie, Darth Maul.
I think he has 3 lines the entire movie.
He barely speaks. He's just there to. He's there to
look cool. He's there to be cool.
He's there to give a reason why Qui-Gon's not there forever. Like, that's all he's there.
He is there for Qui-Gon to die, pretty much.
And then he gets beat by Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan needs to be the one who trains Anakin. Which
I know this is a little premature, but I just want to point out that Maul had the high ground in that fight.
He did. That's where Obi-Wan learned it.
Yes. Obi-Wan knew how to counter high ground.
Now, something that I want to go back to is in the original trilogy, Empire Strikes Back, Obi-Wan straight tells Luke that Yoda's the one who trained him. So where does Qui-Gon come from?
Does he actively say Yoda trained him?
like you.
Or is that? Or are we just made? Did we all just think? Oh
No,
Yoda
he
trained
straight
him.
said you to teach him like you taught me, or something along those lines. Obi-Wan says that. So where did Qui-Gon come from?
Yoda was teaching a class at one point. It's possible that
Yeah,
he was just in that class.
I mean, I guess. I just feel like he had to rewrite the continuity to make the prequels fit. Kind of why he edited the original trilogy so many times to make the prequels fit. But
I mean, that's what happens when you write backwards.
how do you guys feel about Qui-Gon as a character?
Oh, Liam Neeson's great. He's always great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just
mean,
feel
Qui-Gon is the closest thing we've ever come to a gray Jedi, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's the only one of the Jedi Order that's like, hey, no, this detachment stuff isn't the way to go, guys.
Well, actually, no. There is one other character who is he starts to go down that path, and he takes a little bit too far, which is Anakin.
Oh yeah.
But that's how. But Qui-Gon was definitely questioning everything. I'm surprised they let him stay in the Order.
I will argue
for real.
this: if Qui-Gon had trained Anakin, we would never have gotten Darth Vader.
Well, that's the reason why it's called Duel of Fates. It's literally the duel for Anakin's fate. Had Qui-Gon lived, he would have been the father figure for Anakin that Anakin so desired.
But instead, he got Obi-Wan, who was more like a brother.
Yeah.
And I love Obi-Wan, but you weren't what Anakin needed.
No, Obi-Wan was not what Anakin needed.
But Obi-Wan, after he defeats Darth Maul, he's like, I'll train the boy. I will teach the boy. Come, my son, I'll show you the ways of the herd.
Literally.
But we can't not talk about Jar Jar Binks. I know Anthony already brought him up, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, God, I don't... There's really no defending Jar Jar Binks.
No, I was thinking about what the movie would be like without him. He doesn't add anything at all.
People have made...
he's
just comic relief.
He's just racist.
I don't even think it's racist. Like, I do not get racism from him. Like, there's nothing that screams a racial anything. He's just annoying.
He's extremely fucking annoying.
And by the way, Cody, people have made edits to the film and they've cut Jar Jar out.
That would be hard.
It probably doesn't change the story at all of the movie.
No, but he's standing around in a lot of scenes, so editing him out would not be a straightforward process. Even when he's not doing anything, he's just standing there.
And why is Naboo's queen like 14?
She is 14, right?
Yeah. Like,
otherwise it would
why?
really make this romance a little ooey.
Wasn't Keira Knightley the doppelganger?
They could have just made Anakin older. They could have made the movie take place slightly later.
That's all they had to do.
No. But yeah, Keira Knightley was the decoy queen.
I thought that was Keira Knightley. Also, I find it kind of contrived that Anakin made C-3PO.
Yeah, that always felt forced. Even back then, I'm like, what? Why did you?
Was such a stretch.
Yeah, I'm like, we didn't really need an origin story of C-3PO and R2-D2.
Oh, is it Greedo on Tatooine too?
Yes, that's in a deleted scene. It's the scene Anakin's beating the snot out of Greedo, and Qui-Gon interrupted him, beats the father figure that we all know he is.
Like, you needed to tie Greedo into Anakin Skywalker? Like, what?
Everything needs an explanation.
It's poetry, Frankie. It rhymes. It all connects.
But they don't interact ever. He just gets shot by Han Solo. And then Jabba the Hutt's in this movie for some reason.
Yeah, and Anakin used to be his mom and him used to be slaves owned by a Hutt. I think either one of Jabba's relatives.
Oh, this is so contrived. Oh my god.
Yeah. A lot of things forced in.
And then did Anakin ever try to fly a ship before? And he could just do it?
I don't think so. I knew he drove a pod racer before because he's force sensitive, so his reflexes are just a lot better than everyone else's. That's why he's a human being that can drive a pod racer.
And again, they burned Qui-Gon's body just like they burned Darth Vader's body. So is that just a thing that the Jedi do?
I guess.
Burn their bodies?
We have to burn the body. We don't want Force zombies.
Maybe getting rid of their physical form helps them connect to the Force more. I'm trying here.
It just. I fucking hate this movie. I'm sorry. I fucking hate this movie.
That's fine. It only has a few. Maul is a standout. Obviously, the Duel of Fates. Everybody talks about it.
Admittedly,
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are good characters.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the final battle is entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
And Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan as characters are... Obi-Wan's obviously an icon of Star Wars. Qui-Gon leads.
I just wish to give Obi-Wan more to do in this.
And to give them credit, like Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson actually do a good job of their roles. The writing is just stupid.
Yeah, that's just the downfall of Lucas.
I really, really wish somebody would have told Lucas, like, hey, can I just have that pen for a minute and you leave the room?
Like you could have let him storyboard and let somebody else write the dialogue.
Yeah, no, he makes a great world. That's the thing, and it's my main thing with Star Wars is it's such a cool world, but I feel like it has never been properly used.
But again, going back to Empire, that's why Empire worked. Lucas basically just wrote the basic story and let other people handle that stuff.
And now on to Attack of the Clones.
And there's a 10-year gap between the two movies.
Okay, let me just say this. This, in my opinion, of the 9 Star Wars movies, is the fucking worst.
This one's actually grown on me quite a bit as I grow older.
First off, why the fuck is it called Attack of the Clones? They attack in one scene. That's not the point of the movie. Why is it called Attack of the Clones?
Oh no, there's that whole discussion about how all the movies are titled wrong and they should be switched around.
I mean, I think no, I would say Revenge of the Sith is a fine name for the third one. But again, I hate to keep copying Jeremy Johns, but
what would you call this one if it's not Attack of the Clones?
Yoda says something like the Shroud of the Dark Side is upon us, so I had to call the movie Shroud of the Dark Side. That's all more the overall point of the movie.
Hey, maybe.
No, Attack of the Clones was always a weird title.
Cloud agrees.
But then so is Phantom Menace is also, I mean...
Well, you could argue the Phantom Menace means Palpatine.
True.
But it is a stupid name, yeah.
Yeah, this one also is still super political.
Even more so, I would argue, because...
I would argue that these are ahead of their time.
No, political dialogue. I don't care whether it's 10, 20 years ago or 20 years in the future. Political dialogue.
I'm just talking about how Lucas... I'm just saying Lucas called a shit in terms of politician being evil. Just saying.
But political dialogue is just so tiring.
I find it funny how in 10 years, Anakin is a completely different person and Padme's only aged 3 years.
Yeah, I was thinking about that while watching Phantom Menace. I'm like, wait.
He's a Frankie. He's a civilian. He's an overnight.
I guess. It's just he's a completely different person and Padme's the same.
Yep. No, it's funny. Oh, there's this line at the beginning where Padme's decoy takes a hit for her, dies, and she goes, "I've failed you," and I'm like, not really. You did your job perfectly.
Yeah, you did exactly what I paid you for.
I love how they gave what's his name, Jar Jar has a backseat in the rest of these movies.
They knew the backlash that he got, so
he's in like what? He has like what 2 lines of dialogue in this movie.
Yeah.
And then he's in, like, what, 1 scene of Revenge of the Sith?
But he's still a Palpatine emergency powers.
He's in the background doing Darth Jar Jar stuff.
Yes. But...
Calling it, he's Plagueis.
Okay. What's Jango Fett's deal?
What do you mean?
To give Boba Fett more story, that's why.
That's why he exists.
Boba Fett sold the most action figures.
Oh my.
Because we needed more Boba Fett, but this week
again because he sold action figures.
Like that whole thing where he drops like the worms into that room. Why doesn't he just drop a grenade, blow up the whole room, and walk away?
Okay, can we just talk about how elaborate this assassination is?
It's ridiculous.
I think it was Pitch Meeting that talked about it when I heard them. It was a Dooku hired Jango to kill Padme. And then Jango hires another assassin who uses a drone to deliver the bugs that Jango gave her.
I'm like, dude, just shoot.
It's so stupid. Like, just Django, you are an assassin. Just do it yourself.
You killed Wookiees, for God's sake. Oh, wait, was that Boba?
Probably both.
Probably both. Like, you're a Mandalorian.
Now, my whole thing is Django Fett just seems stupid to me. I don't know. I don't get it. I also think Anakin's a whiny fucking brat.
The friggin' teenager that's literally been told, who's literally been told he is the one that's gonna save everything. How would you react? And he's horny. How would you act, Frankie?
Not like I'm about to be a serial killer.
The dude's literally been raised by religious zealots for like 10 years. He's barely had any interaction with anyone since the Naboo crisis.
Here's the problem. We know he's supposed to become Darth Vader. You're not convincing me this kid's going to be Darth Vader. I'm just saying.
They all got to start where?
That's not a justification for being an annoying piece of shit.
No, this movie has, I think, probably one of the worst love stories I've ever seen anywhere.
I truly,
that's awful.
Deeply love you.
No one talks like that.
No, it's so uncomfortable. Just everything about it is uncomfortable. I'm like,
there's no real turn point for Padme for her to suddenly be interested.
Cody, I think you mentioned this to me the other day when he slaughters the sand people, and Padme's like, "Oh, that's hot."
Yeah. What did I say to you? It was just like, I killed younglings. Padme was into that.
Oh God.
No. Okay. So here's the thing. Padme is clearly from the word go. She's attracted to Anakin just because. I mean, look at him.
No. She's not. That's the thing. Is for most of this movie, she's like, "Please stay away from me. You're making me uncomfortable." Like,
for the first half, but
first like 3/4.
It's
almost the entire movie.
As soon as they get to Naboo, she just the switch is flipped.
No, the line about sand is the one that really did it for her.
Yeah, that's what did it, because that's when she kisses him. It's like, wait, what? You're kissing him?
Like, so Anakin has a precedent for slaughtering kids because he killed the children of these sand people.
He slaughtered them like animals.
I hate them.
No, actually, angry Anakin is pretty intense. There, in that line.
What I gotta say too is, I feel like Obi-Wan takes a giant backseat in this movie.
At least he has something to do in terms of he has nothing to do in Phantom Menace except kill Darth Maul.
I feel like he had more of a presence in Phantom Menace. He doesn't Attack of the Clones though.
Not really.
Attack of the Clones. He does what? He goes to the check the clones thing. Sifo Dyas. Who the fuck is Sifo Dyas?
Basically, just he was just kind of a pawn that Dooku killed, and like, all right, we're gonna hand him order the clones.
They name drop him, like giving you some lore intrigue, and then just nothing.
Wait, I think Dooku killed Sifo Dyas.
Yeah, he did.
Okay,
Dooku's a dick.
But
not
I don't
really.
think the movie says that. Does the movie say that? I don't know if it does.
No, the movie doesn't say that. You learn about that, I think, in sub material.
So, like, are Dooku and Saruman the same person?
No, Dooku is Count Dracula.
Well, yeah, they're all the same person. They're all the same actor. He's actually the man with the golden gun.
So what you're telling me is Saruman is Dooku in a multiverse continuity. So this is part of the MCU.
So basically, okay, Frankie. So here's how it goes. You see, Dooku in the multiverse is Saruman, but in another universe, he is Scaramanga, who's a professional assassin that tries to kill James Bond. But then in another universe, he's Dracula. And in another universe, he's Dracula again with a mustache.
Is Christopher Lee just a bad person?
No, Christopher Lee was actually an awesome person.
He just plays terrible people. Okay, I got it.
Because it's more fun to play a bad guy.
Okay. Also, as far as I've understood lore-wise in Star Wars, we've had red lightsabers, which are evil, blue lightsabers, and green lightsabers.
Yes.
Why is Mace Windu's fucking purple?
Because Samuel L. Jackson said so.
Yeah, he asked really, really nicely.
Sam Jackson he's like, I'll call you a motherfucker if you don't make my lightsaber purple.
And George was just like, okay.
No, there's literally a clip of George talking about that, and he's just like, oh, I never thought about other colors.
Well, yeah, there's literally a clip like, good guys have green and blue, bad guys have red, and Sandra's like, no purple?
See, I always thought
you might get purple.
See, I always thought blue was like a training lightsaber. Green was like when you're finally like a Jedi Master.
That's what I thought too.
And then red is a Sith lightsaber. So
no, I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but people were saying that the green lightsaber actually came into existence because they were outside, blue sky.
Yes, that's correct.
Work. Yeah, something like
that's
that.
correct. Because if you
the lightsaber talk is really getting under my dog's skin.
Well, I remember back in the day when red lightsabers were just synthetic crystals. They weren't caused because you got really angry and your crystal turned red.
Yeah, that was an interesting.
What was
change.
that in?
That is the new continuity, the Disney continuity.
Well, Disney continuity is stupid.
Basically, they corrupt the kyber crystal by putting their negative emotions into
by being very angry. So I guess Anakin wasn't angry when he killed those younglings.
Yeah, because his lightsabers blew the entirety of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I guess Anakin wasn't angry enough.
Maybe it has to be deliberate.
How do you guys feel about Yoda having a lightsaber?
I don't mind it. It leads to one of the hilarious moments of the series.
Dude, he fights!
He fights like Mickey in Kingdom Hearts. It's great.
He really does.
He's just jumping around.
I remember as a kid, I definitely thought that was cool. It's still cool, but the funniest thing is after he's done fighting, he just goes back to his cane.
I know, it's hilarious.
I honestly think if they had fought a little bit longer, he probably would have killed Count Dooku.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then Anakin and Obi-Wan get beaten up. Anakin gets arm chopped off.
Can we discuss...
and he loses... Sorry, what?
Oh, you saying he was losing something?
No, yeah, he lost the same arm that Luke cut off. So at this point, you still don't know that Darth Vader's limbs are all mechanical.
That's true.
You just know about the right one.
Yeah.
But can we just talk about how cool it is to see all those Jedi fighting? Like, you never... that was so cool.
Like, I can't not say the prequels have cool moments in them, because they do.
Yeah, but it's moments like that make me go, like, how do people just consider the Jedi a myth less than 100 years later, less than 50 years later?
Okay, no, less than 20 years. Okay, I was discussing this with my friend Nathan. Because of Disney Star Wars, there's just more Jedi popping up in between the prequels and the originals. Like,
that means Order 66 was kind of terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. They're just popping up like daisies.
I was trying to remember. I know the Jedi are considered a myth by the time the sequels come out, but in the 19 years between 3 and 4, are they? Also?
I mean, you could have, if getting rid of every supplemental thing Disney's put out, if you just have Clone Wars, Rebels, the prequels, and the original trilogy, like basically the Jedi were pretty much wiped out. There was maybe like 5 of them left.
Now you have like Cal Kestis running around. You have Ahsoka. Still alive.
Yeah, but there's a difference between there not being many of them and them being just straight up like, oh no, they're not real.
But that's probably the Empire's influence. Like, nope, they're extinct. They're done.
Darth Vader should have done a better job at hunting the rest of them down. I'm just saying.
Clearly, because just the more TV shows that come out, the more Jedi show up.
Because I would argue at that point, most of the Jedi probably can't beat Darth Vader. So why didn't he just go hunt them down himself?
That's what he had Inquisitors. You have the Inquisitors. You have Jude Law in this Star Wars kids show. There's like over 10 Jedi popping up.
Like Darth Vader should have just done it himself.
Yeah, Order 66 wasn't that effective as we originally thought.
Maybe Palpatine just sucks at his job.
Maybe.
And then the clone attack happens, and it's whatever. I don't. And then Jango Fett just kind of dies. It's very underwhelming.
I mean, it's a cool shot though, at least.
Yeah, keep getting his head chopped off, and then Boba Fett's like,
Boba Fett picking up his dad's head.
That whole Coliseum scene, it's just so cool. Like, I wouldn't change a single thing about it.
Yeah, and then Anakin gets a green lightsaber there for some reason.
Well, because they had to get replacement lightsabers.
Yeah, I kind of missed. Did he just pick it up? Like what?
No, so two Jedi just threw. They had spares to give Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Okay, there we go. I missed that because he had the green lightsaber all of a sudden, and I was like, do I want to rewind it? Nah.
Like this is the Star Wars movie I have seen the least because I hate it the most. And it came out right after Spider-Man, which didn't help.
Oh, that silver was insane.
Spider-Man ruined a lot of movies around the time because it's just like, but it wasn't as good as Spider-Man.
But let's look at that year for film. You had Attack of the Clones, you had Spider-Man, The Two Towers, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
That was a stacked year, yeah.
Yeah, that was that's a murderer's row right there.
And I like 3 of those movies.
I like all of them.
But
I've only got a few more things for this movie.
Go ahead.
This is where Anakin's descent really starts with trying to save his mom and failing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and they I guess she got adopted by what would be Luke's aunt and uncle in
Adopted as if funny. Yeah.
the original.
She got adopted? No, she married into that family.
Oh, she married into it. No, she got married into it. You're right.
She's
You're
a
right.
grown woman. She's like in her 60s. How can she be adopted?
She got bought, freed, and
you're
married.
Right. I'm
yes.
sorry.
I want to adopt a 60-year-old.
Why did the Sand people keep Shmi alive for a month, though?
They were gonna eat her.
Okay, so why did they keep her
I mean,
alive for a month?
Yeah, a month?
Or take her captive at all?
Because contrived writing.
Yeah, okay.
Because they needed a reason for Anakin to get there and feel sorrow, and needed Qui-Gon's voice to be like, Anakin, don't do it, Anakin!
Yeah, that was weird.
Something we didn't mention in Phantom Menace I want to go back to, because Cody brought it up to me the other day. In the Blu-ray release, they replaced Puppet Yoda with CGI Yoda because Puppet Yoda looked fucking weird.
Yeah, like the younger Puppet Yoda looked very weird compared to the ones from the earlier ones.
The original trilogy Puppet looked so much better than the prequel one.
Well, I think they also tried to make him look younger.
It looked weird.
No, it was. I remember he was just very twitchy.
He looked like he was on meth or something. It was.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. No, the CG was definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, and I mean, Frank Oz was puppeteering him during the making, so it's not like the actual puppeteering was bad.
No, it's just the puppet itself looked.
Yeah,
but which goes back to what I was saying about the animatronic of the weird alien guys. George Lucas, you're George Lucas. How?
Put more money at it.
Well, I think he was putting more towards this 3D effects than really paying.
Oh god, and it looks like a PS1 game in Phantom Menace too. Oh my!
You know what was actually interesting is the textures.
It looks like
that
PS2. Come on, Frankie.
The textures were really bad, but the lighting was really good on the CG stuff.
Yeah,
agreed.
No, I could agree with that, but they have aged like dog crap.
Yeah, and this is the first time I watched him in 4K, and yeah.
You
really? Because I watched my VHS copy of Phantom Menace. It looked fine.
No.
It's one of those things where
on VHS it's going to look fine.
Yeah. On older formats, some of that stuff looks a lot better.
Now,
and then everything else looks worse.
On an objective level, Revenge of the Sith is the best of the 3. I think that's just a fact.
Yes. No. Absolutely.
It's not even close.
And now,
I mean,
I do.
Revenge of the Sith is the only one that I would usually like. I'd go back to and just watch.
Did you guys go to the re-release?
No, I did not.
No, but I heard it almost outperformed Snow White.
That does not surprise me because people
it outperformed the sequels. I think
this was actually, if you guys have been listening to From the Shelf from the beginning, Annalise's first movie in the theater was Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Wow.
But
Owen Wilson just showed up.
Shut up.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Owen Wilson, what are you doing here?
Now, I will say they
just
do
came to talk about Star Wars, man.
There are legitimate positives of Revenge of the Sith that I want to talk about. They do heavily dial back the love dialogue.
Absolutely. Well,
the dialogue that is in it though is fucking awful.
Yes, but it's brief. It's brief but bad.
Can I go back to Attack of the Clones real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
The only time the love dialogue actually sounded pretty good is when Anakin and Padme are sitting at that dining room chair, because that whole scene is just improv between Portman and Christian, because Lucas said, I don't like how I wrote this.
Oh, so you finally caught on how shitty of a writer you are.
So just going off script. It makes things better.
And that's when they actually sound interested.
Now, something I want to mention that if you didn't watch the in-between material between Clone Wars, between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, you're gonna be fucking lost. Because
most of it, no, that's not. Most of it didn't exist yet, so that's not true.
No, well, General Grievous, he was in the
cartoon.
He was in that cartoon, yeah.
Yeah, that cartoon. That's hard to find now.
Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it is. But back then it was.
Really, when did they add it? Because last time I looked, it was not there.
I thought I saw it on Disney Plus.
But there was an old Clone Wars show on Cartoon Network in between.
So is that one canon still, or is it not?
It has to be because Grievous.
No, because Grievous is in the CG Clone Wars show.
Yeah, but he was also in the old one. He was in the old one because you see Mace Windu crush his chest.
Yeah, I mean, and that makes a lot of sense because I don't remember in the CG one if he's coughing a lot. I have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, because in the old one,
I'm trying to remember. Was that old animated that one, the one you're talking about? Was that Asajj Ventress? I don't know.
Yes, she was also introduced in it.
She's the one that gave Anakin his scar, isn't she?
I think so.
They actually don't explain. I don't explain how Anakin got the scar. He just has it.
And I will
maybe that was extended material.
I will say this too: Anakin is much more mature in this movie than he was in Attack of the Clones, which is also part of why that time gap between the two movies,
which this time is only 3 years.
But a lot has clearly happened in those 3 years.
Yes, a whole show.
A whole show. He's literally fought a war.
Well, to the point where I'm pretty sure now, the movie never explicitly says this, but he's now a Jedi Knight, right?
Yeah, he's a Jedi Knight.
Not a Padawan anymore.
So he had a duel with Asajj Ventress, at least in the original animated show, and he beat her, and then they promoted him to Jedi Knight.
Okay. Because he is, in terms of fucking power and skill, he has surpassed most of the Jedi by this point. He's a beast in this movie, because
he was literally called the General with no fear, I think.
Because, like,
Clone Wars.
Honest to God, when he's fighting Count Dooku, once Obi-Wan's taken out, Anakin rocks Count Dooku.
Yeah, no, he went hard. Actually, the whole intro, the first 20 minutes of Revenge just goes real hard.
It was actually a lot longer. Apparently, there's 2 hours worth of material for this opening.
Oh
that
my God.
Sounds impossible.
It's alleged. But did any of you guys watch the deleted stuff from Revenge of the Sith?
I haven't.
Probably a lot, not recently. I'm sure I haven't.
Yeah, there was a lot left on the cutting room floor.
I mean, I guess because this one was clearly the one that people cared about the most, this is where he becomes Darth Vader. He probably did write a lot that just you can't put in a 2.5 hour runtime.
No, definitely not.
No, but actually, we got to give Hayden Christensen the props he deserves for his saber work.
Him
and Ewan McGregor just.
But the difference between Hayden Christensen in this movie and Attack of the Clones is fucking night and day. It's insane how much better he is in Revenge of the Sith, in my opinion.
Well, that just shows different level of directing, I think.
It's also Revenge of the Sith is a much better written film than Attack
I
of the
think
Clones.
this is the one Lucas really put everything he had into it, so I think that's why
it was
better.
Point. It was the whole point of the trilogy.
He literally knew he had to go hard on it.
Kill him now. Do it. And then he just does it. He just chops his head off.
I just want to say something. I'm like, how the fuck should I not realize Palpatine was the Emperor?
Yeah, I don't even think that was supposed to be a secret.
It wasn't.
They don't even try to hide it.
No, they don't even try to hide it even in episode 1.
A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Nobody's going to talk about this, but justice for R4, because nobody cared that R4 got her head ripped off.
Yeah, no, justice for R4 indeed.
So do you guys think Grievous knew that Palpatine was the Emperor?
No.
Probably. No, what?
I don't think so.
If anybody talked to him or saw his face, like, how could you not?
I think Dooku knew.
Dooku
and Maul were probably the only ones that knew.
Oh, Cody, to answer your question, because the Star Wars world is full of fucking idiots, and nobody figured out till Anakin did.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, Obi-Wan does bring it up, and Yoda kind of dismisses it.
Now, how long has Anakin been away from Padme before he gets back to her? How long? Because ultimately, Anakin's been off to war. He comes back and he finds out his wife's pregnant.
Are we gonna get into the theory that she's actually with Obi-Wan and not Anakin?
Clone Wars, they come back and forth between missions.
Okay.
Like, it's not just the Clone Wars star and Anakin's just only been at war. No, they go back. The Jedi go back and forth to Coruscant.
Okay, that's fine then. Because if he just was gone to war, came back, found out his wife was pregnant, his first question should have been, "Who's the father?"
Yeah, that's not mine.
All I care about is just that's confirmation that Darth Vader smashed.
Yeah.
Oh, you know Darth Vader smashed.
You don't know these Jedi and their
Palpatine.
You need to
Brutish
tell me
ways.
while Anakin and Padme were on the second time when they got married, they didn't smash at the end of the Attack of the Clones.
Listen,
Anakin doesn't have a father. Who knows?
Look, Palpatine got down and dirty as a granddaughter.
Yeah, Palpy's
My
getting
God.
wild. He's
Yeah,
sowing
when
his
did,
soul.
when did that happen?
We'll get to that next year.
Smash Palpatine.
Let me. When Obi-Wan goes to fight Grievous, that zoom-in shot of him is at a really weird angle.
I have always thought that, and every single time. Oh, I don't think so.
It's so frustrating.
Oh, that one.
I don't think so. Like, it's.
I
so
think I know what he
awkward.
was trying to do. I think he was trying to do that whole good and the bad and the ugly thing where they're closing up on them. I think that's what Lucas was going for. I could be 100% wrong.
Grievous is uncivilized,
Well, he's not a Sith or Jedi, so.
but he's uncivilized. Obi-Wan said it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
He was talking
I
to
just
the
don't know what to say to
blaster.
that.
I always felt like, though, as a writer, they had to get Obi-Wan out of there just so he doesn't die. Like it just felt like a way to get Obi-Wan out of there because you don't want to see Obi-Wan to see Anakin turn to Darth Vader.
No, 100% not. So can we just talk about Palpatine's reveal?
You mean the most obvious thing in the world?
But okay, here's the thing. How much was riding on Palpatine separating Obi-Wan, making sure Ahsoka wasn't part of the Order anymore?
Anthony, you don't understand.
Anakin falling in love with Padme.
Anthony, you don't understand. He sensed his anger. It gave him focus.
Okay, but like if Anakin doesn't fall in love with, doesn't get the hots for Padme, Palpatine really doesn't have a plan for Anakin
Now,
to set in motion.
This whole thing would have fallen apart if Darth Maul didn't kill Qui-Gon.
Oh, 100%.
Like, the whole thing was, maybe Anakin will just get super mad.
Well, I don't think Palpatine knew a shit about Anakin until Anakin blew up the Trade Federation station. He's like, "Oh, okay, this kid might have something. Let's keep
It's
an
hard
eye
to
on
say
that."
what's going on with Palpatine most of the time because it's pretty much confirmed in this movie that he's able to straight up read minds.
Yes, he can.
So that helps with any of his planning.
The whole Darth Plagueis thing, that was clearly him saying, "Hey, I killed my master, and I know how to bring you back."
Oh yeah,
why?
He's talking to him about a Sith legend. Like, why the hell do you know of anything about the Sith?
And why doesn't Anakin question it?
He did. Just it took him a bit.
I thought until Maul showed up, the Sith were extinct. Why would you have any knowledge of that? I feel like that'd be something the Jedi would keep covered up.
That's why Anakin was concerned after. He's like, well, you shouldn't know that this is not. I'm gonna go talk to Mace Windu about this because there's a problem with this.
And then he beats them all except Mace Windu.
Do you think Mace Windu would have beaten Palpatine?
Probably.
It's hard to say. You don't get enough of his.
I don't
his
think.
skill,
I think at least Mace Windu would have made the attempt to kill him if Anakin hadn't stopped him.
Well, Mace Windu is a problematic character to begin with.
Now, okay, I've said this before. I know I've said this to Anthony. I'm gonna say it again. In Revenge of the Sith, we'll box it up. How many Jedi Masters does Darth Vader kill?
We don't know how many were in the temple during Order 66, but what we see on screen is just Mace.
No, the Emperor killed
He
Mace Windu.
He doesn't kill Mace Windu,
The
yeah.
Emperor killed Mace Windu.
No, Mace Windu does not die on screen. If he's dead, he didn't die from that.
The light, because Palpatine threw him out the window with lightning. So, technically speaking, Anakin does not kill a single Jedi Master on screen.
That we see, yes, you're right.
He also doesn't kill any kids on screen, but that happened.
Now,
and yet the Kyber crystal doesn't bleed.
Yeah. No, seriously. But I was dead. I was dead serious though. Mace Windu, there's no reason for him to be dead. He lost an arm. He got hit with Force lightning, and he fell out of a window. None of those things would kill a Jedi.
If he's alive, I'm like, where has he been? And also, what the heck? Another Jedi still alive?
Okay, but if he's dead, how is he dead? Because that didn't kill him.
So what happened was he fell through a portal, ended up in the Marvel universe, lost his eye to a cat, and
but how'd he get his hands back?
Don't ask those questions.
How'd he get his hands back?
Don't ask those questions. You don't want to know. Multiverse fuckery. Anyway.
I had a flashback after the thing when Mace Windu gets thrown out the window. There's that shot where Anakin says back, "What have I done?" And I thought back to the PS2 game, because in the game it's really funny because it's playing clips from the movie, and I distinctly remember him saying that after an extended fight with Mace Windu.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's just like you fight Mace Windu, like you're having a full-on fight with him, and after that, Anakin's just like, "What have I done?" As if it was a quick accidental thing.
It was a complete accident. I didn't mean to fight him.
Now, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Okay. So, is it just me, or Yoda having a relationship with the Wookiees came the fuck out of nowhere?
A little bit.
When did Yoda know the Wookiees? And I love how he just name drops one of them as Chewbacca.
And why didn't Chewbacca ever bring that up to Han Solo? Because Han Solo's like, why is Chewbacca just saying to go, yo, I knew them! I knew the Grand Master!
You want to talk about things not being brought up? R2 remembers all of this and doesn't
He doesn't say a word!
Doesn't say a word! Oh, by the way, C3PO, your memory got completely wiped. Wait, what?
But you're hanging out. You're always hanging out with the dude that remembers everything and didn't have his memory wiped and somehow don't know anything.
Also, Chewbacca hung out with Yoda.
Yeah, but that's never brought up again because
Hokey religions, bullshit, Han. I hung out with them. And
I guess his Palpatine's face is just because he got blocked by Force lightning.
Yeah, okay. I never understood that. Why that?
See,
happens.
I thought it was because he was corrupted by the dark side all this time, but I guess not.
Or maybe that is what happened, just with Force lightning.
I literally just never thought about it.
What I don't understand though is the makeup is completely different than it was in the original trilogy.
Well, because this one looks fresh. It's fresh.
But like, it's not even the same. He's a lot more wrinkly in this.
And he doesn't even try to hide it either when he's making that speech. He's like, "Look what happened to my face."
Yeah, because he has to sell, like, "Hey, the Jedi turned on us.
Look what he did to me.
Look what they did to me. Like, they're bad people. Join this empire."
I love the part where Obi-Wan goes to Padme and tries to tell her that Anakin killed younglings. He has to cover his mouth because he can't stop laughing.
Is he actually laughing? Okay, well, I know it's a meme, but is he actually laughing?
Ewan McGregor was laughing, yes.
I was always, even before people talked about that, I did actually wonder, because, like, was he laughing? I always did wonder.
Ewan McGregor admitted he was laughing and he had to cover his mouth because he thought it was ridiculous.
Younglings.
Younglings.
He's killing younglings.
Now, I will admit that the final battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan is actually pretty cool, but it takes forever.
I don't mind it.
It's getting intercut with the Yoda Palpatine battle, which makes it feel longer than it is.
But how messed up was it as a kid seeing Order 66?
That was fucked.
It was messed up.
That was pretty bad. And you said
it's a really effective scene.
You said you weren't sure if you wanted to talk about the extended stuff, but it actually changes a lot.
We got it. I think we got it.
Because Order 6, when I first saw it, I was like, well, duh, the clones of the bad guy are bad. But then it turns out that the clones didn't actually have a choice.
Yeah. Because they're just programmed to follow every order ever.
Because I knew that was going to be an issue when we started Clone Wars and we got to know some of the clones. Rex, I'm like, I don't want to see Rex wiping out Jedi. I don't want to see Rex
this is important. The clones are so much more effective than the stormtroopers because the stormtroopers can't hit.
The clone troopers got beaten by Care Bears.
Exactly. Whereas the clones, they annihilate Jedi.
Yeah, literally. How did this Jedi annihilating army get beat by friggin' Care Bears?
Well, are the stormtroopers the clone troopers, or
I think some of them are, but not all of them.
I heard like Palpatine shut down the whole cloning thing, and it's just regular soldiers.
Then where'd they go?
Well, in Kenobi, you see one of them just kind of like a beggar. So they honestly said, "Fuck off, you're done. We don't need you."
I can't not bring up the whole Anakin, you're breaking my heart line because Jesus freaking Christ.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Nobody talks.
There's no defending that.
Which is actually crazy because there was a actually really effective scene where Padme and Anakin like put their hand on the window.
Yeah,
and you could tell they're looking at each other, but they can't see each other. That was actually a really powerful scene.
That's right before Anakin decides, okay.
But then you follow that up with Anakin, you're breaking my heart. Like, George Lucas, you've shown you could show us subtlety. Why do you have to have Padme say that?
Yeah, it's rough.
It's kind of messed up because do you think Padme could have swayed him had Obi-Wan not stepped out?
No, because Anakin thought what he was doing, what he could to save his wife. That's
the whole point of the whole point of the movie is like he will do anything at all to save her.
But I mean, you see the scene after he wipes out the Separatists, him just standing out there, literally tearing up. It's like because you can see he's like questioning, like, "What the hell am I doing?"
But after Obi-Wan defeats Anakin, he basically leaves him for dead because that was his mission.
You could have just taken a couple light steps and just ignite the lightsaber, and it would have been done.
Hey, dude, I don't think he could bring himself to actually finish Anakin off. Couldn't do it.
Absolutely not.
The fact that he went as far as he did, it probably was just like, okay, I think I'm done.
He couldn't
Even
do it.
They bring that up in Kenobi. Like, Obi-Wan has PTSD from it because he literally had a fight to the death with his brother.
Could could Yoda have defeated Palpatine? I don't think so.
Actually, I was thinking about that because they're going toe to toe with the lightning and force off, and Yoda wins. It kind of shows Yoda is stronger.
Yeah, Yoda just kind of gave up.
Someone mentioned that fall he took because he's so small probably hurt him more than people think it did.
It's probable.
And on top of the explosion that knocked him back, Yoda probably took more damage than we think he did.
That fight is still pretty cool, just having Yoda and Palpatine fight in the Senate room.
Padme's
just throwing platforms at each other.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like George Lucas knew how much we hate. All right, we're gonna destroy that whole thing.
Padme's death is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, there's no defending dying of a broken heart.
Like,
why'd she die? Yeah, she just gave up.
She's lost the will to live? Are we doctors or what are we, doctors?
Now, if I'm being a dickhead for a second, women have died in childbirth. It happens.
Then just say that. But here's the issue.
There's like a theory
that remember.
She shouldn't. She was like 10 seconds old when Padme died.
You don't care about Force or whatnot. You do not remember.
Luke was more in tune with the Force than Leia was, and he doesn't remember that shit. And then we finally get Darth Vader. And seeing his suit was cool. Hearing the Imperial March when he got his suit on was cool.
I have a bone to pick with you, Frankie, given and to bring up an old review you did of this film.
Oh, no.
And what you've always said, how you hate the line from Anakin's point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Because no one talks about it.
Well, if you look at the sub material and pretty much how the Jedi have, I can honestly side with Anakin. And yeah, the Jedi are kind of corrupt.
Oh, great. Now Anthony's going to go kill a bunch of younglings. That's what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mace Windu was definitely in favor of taking over the Senate.
Anthony, it's not that. It was the way he said it. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Nobody talks like that.
And that's how you know that Lucas wrote the line.
Well, I'm just trying to defend the meaning behind it. The Jedi turned their backs on his Padawan. Like, the Jedi treated Anakin like shit.
Like, if he had said something like, "I don't see how you think the Jedi are good when they treated me like crap,"
that would have been better.
If he had rewrote it to make it sound more like human dialogue, it's fine. Because of the fact that he says verbatim, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. It's just shitty dialogue.
I can understand that, but I will defend the meaning behind it.
You can. Now, look, I do find enjoyment in Revenge of the Sith, but
I'd be surprised if you could. It has, of the original trilogy, it has the most standout moments. Usually, there's actually of the entire series, really. Most movies only have one or two standout moments, but Revenge actually has quite a few.
Yeah,
the only thing that bugs me the most about this movie, I've already said it, is the love story dialogue because it's so bad. And
thankfully, they're not near each other most of the time.
Scene. Yeah, like it's only one scene.
If you just put the movie in a box, you take all the supplemental material out. You just put the movie in a box. Anakin's turn is really sudden.
Yes, it is a problem with the movies.
A little bit. Honestly, had Anakin shown up maybe right at the end of the fight with Windu and Palpatine and Anakin saw the lightning hit Palpatine, you could have done a very interesting parallel with the Luke getting electrocuted by the Emperor. You could have done a very interesting parallel with that.
Frankie's right, though. I mean, I get it. Like, he's going to do anything to save Padme, and he no longer trusts the Jedi. I get it. But how do you go from that to I'm going to kill a room full of kids? Like, how do you get?
Like, you literally turned Palpatine in to the Jedi.
Wait a minute. No, they did do that. Anakin walks in as he's right before Palpatine does the lightsaber. That's my fault.
It's
oh yeah, and the other Jedi just stand there while Palpatine kills him.
Yeah. because this is a shittily written movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how you could have done Anakin's turn a little better. If you kept it in the box.
Does the show help with that?
It helps you understand why Anakin turns, definitely. But at the moment,
you go from Anakin turning in Palpatine to killing a room full of kids. How do you get there within like the course of a day? Less than a day.
I can tell you how you do it better. You cut out Phantom Menace, start with Attack of the Clones, have an in-between movie.
You definitely, yeah.
That would have been the best way to go about it, because Phantom Menace is ultimately pointless.
Literally, Phantom Menace's only purpose is to show how Palpatine gets to become the Chancellor.
And you could have just started with him as a senator. You could have just started there. We don't need to see all that.
No, you could have started him as the Chancellor.
That's what I'm saying. Like, boom. But no, we for some reason wanted to have Anakin as a kid and C-3PO being made. And I know, guys, I've been hard on these movies, but as a Star Wars fan, these movies piss me the fuck off.
I feel like this is just how I'm going to react next year.
Again, I think that Star Wars, it's a great world. I think the right person has not yet gotten their hands on it.
And now here's what's going to happen. The next trilogy comes out, all of a sudden the sequels are good. That's how this is going to work.
No, you'll never convince. You'll no, absolutely not.
It's going to happen.
This is what happened with the prequels. Is people are now enjoying the prequels and hating.
I always defended the prequels.
It's. I'm just saying, it's what happened. Frankie's right. When the next trilogy comes out, people are going to be like, no. When the next trilogy comes out, whenever it comes out next, if it happens, who knows?
The sequels.
I'm sorry. Ren and Kylo Ren have a worse love story than Padme and Anakin.
We'll get to that. But
yeah, Anakin's final moment with Padme is choking her.
You brought him here to kill me.
Do you think Anakin / Darth Vader ever realizes that Padme died because he was trying to save her?
I think he figures it out, which is part of why he turns on the Emperor.
That's the tragedy. And then he just, basically, by the time...
The reason he really turned on the Emperor was because he found out Luke was his kid, and he's been lied to all this time.
Yeah, literally. There's no talk of Vader betraying. Like, Anakin, yeah, when Anakin is on Mustafar, he's betraying the Emperor. But after Padme dies and lost the kid, yeah, Anakin's basically dead inside.
All right, Cody, we've been going on for an hour.
Yep.
So I think we need to wrap this up.
Okay, but before that, I have a question. Why is it that people are always enjoying the movies the most when the good guys lose? You got Empire, Revenge, Infinity War. Those are the ones that always stand out to people, is when the good guys lose. Why?
I think that just shows how messed up we are.
That means there are stakes for the next.
Or it just could be we're all just messed up human beings that just like pain.
I think my answer is more accurate.
I think my answer is more accurate.
Well, you're fucked. All right, Cody, what are we talking about next week, my friend?
Oh man, I am not good at remembering to do that.
Wait, what number episode is next time?
Oh, I forgot. I think it's like 48. I want to say 48.
50 is going to be a different thing.
Oh, I should probably come back for the 50th.
Probably.
We should probably try to get Annalise back for that.
You talked about how Lion King's the only animated Disney movie that has been talked about here.
Correct.
Yes, it's the only one we've done.
Since there's a live-action version coming out,
Lilo and Stitch?
Lilo and Stitch. I have not watched...
you guys have fun with that.
Oh, I love
I've not watched that in a long time.
All right, Lilo and Stitch.
It's going to hold up.
All right, guys, thank you so much today. Anthony, thank you for coming back for this episode. I do appreciate it.
Yep. I'll be popping up back up here and there. I definitely will come back for the 50th.
I'll tell you what the 50th is off the recording. again, thank you guys so much for listening today.
We gotta talk to Ellie, see if she wants to come back for that.
And me and Cody will see you guys next week for Lilo and Stitch. So until then, take care.
Spoilers, they'll like it.